Welcome back. And yes, we are talking about trauma today. And Kosibonelo is helping Anonymous, who went through a lot in life. And I know 95% we've gone through a trauma in our lives, whether we like it or not. Yes. We have that moment where we experience trauma, and you are sharing more about trauma. But what does healing look like? What is the process of healing? Yes. How will she know that, okay, Mhlambe, I'm fine? You know, what is the process actually of getting the healing?
Thanks very much for that. I think it's also a very important part as well, because what they say about healing is that healing has no timeline. That is what is normally said about healing. But when it comes to trauma, what I've come to realize, based on the technique that I use, that I've been trained on, is that it also depends actually with the type of intervention that is used. Is very important in the healing of trauma. Okay. It's a very important part in the healing of trauma, because Anonymous mentioned that it's been years now, when she was told that time heals all wounds. That statement is not applicable to everything, especially with trauma, because with trauma, if you don't heal, it can increase into PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. You know, so now when you heal, how you are gonna know is, remember now, when we say you are healing, we are not saying we are getting rid of the memories of the event, but we are merely changing how you are relating with the event. That's one thing that we need to understand. Healing does not mean I am forgetting about what has happened. It means how I relate with what has happened is changing. For instance, when you have been through something traumatic in your past, you are trapped in that experience. So you feel as if it's still happening, although it has ceased to happen. So when you heal from it, it means you are gonna be able to see that event as a distant memory, not something that feels as if it's still here. New. Yes, it's here.
Because a man does not know the past or things is happening now.
Exactly, you know now. It feels as if it's still happening. Hence all of these responses, hence all of these exaggerated responses, you know. So because the person becomes detached from reality, and they are always reacting to life, they are always reacting to their own experiences, on previous traumatic experiences. So you are going to see that you have healed when you are able to share the story with somebody, and there are no tears. Yes, there are no more emotions. It means you have dealt with the emotional charge. The memory is still there, but as a memory, not as something that feels as if it's still happening.
How do they come out from a victim mentality? Because they can go on along that, oh, this thing happens to me. Like, they're owning it. How do they come out of that victim mentality? Yes,
so now as human beings, it's important to remember that we are rational beings. And as rational beings, we have this tendency, this inclination of wanting to make sense of each and everything around us, and even things that have happened to us. So to come out of the victim mentality, it comes when the person is able to make sense of the event. Because in most cases, you find that the whys are the ones that also contributed to the person being trapped by the event.
Why me?
Why me? Why did it have to happen to me? Why that way? Why was I not even able to see it coming? All of those, you understand? So when a person reaches that stage whereby they are able to see the event in a different light, that is when now they are able to take back their own power and come out of this victim mentality. That is what we call shifting from a post-traumatic stress disorder to post-traumatic growth. You are able to extract from the event things that can build you and enhance your personal development as an individual.
Is there any accountability that she needs to take here? Because of, remember, this thing happened to her.
Yes.
Is there anything that she needs to be accountable for?
Thank you so very much for that question, because now it takes us to what we call the flows of trauma. So when we speak about the flows of trauma, we are talking about the direction of causation, how something came about. So we have got what we call an inflow of trauma. That is when something from the external world has harmed the individual, such as in her case, she has been raped by the father. And we have got what we call an outflow of trauma. It's me doing something to another person and it leaves some form of guilt in my heart and so forth. And so now she has to see that there was an inflow of trauma based on the letter that she wrote. So there is nothing she has to be accountable for here because of it was an inflow of trauma. Something from the external world threatened her sense of safety and all that. It happened to her. So as long as she can be able to see the direction in which the trauma occurred, she will see that there is actually nothing for her to be accountable for in this case. Because sometimes people fall into this trap of blaming themselves for something that was beyond control. Yes,
you know. I shouldn't have worn that dress.
Exactly. You see now, but when you are able to see the direction in which the trauma was moving, at least you are able to see that this was beyond control. So there is absolutely nothing for her to be accountable for here. She is not responsible for the trauma that she has gone through, but the only thing that she is responsible for is for her to heal. That is her responsibility. Healing is her responsibility. She was not responsible for the trauma, so she has nothing to be accountable for. But when it comes to healing, then now it's her responsibility.
Oh my goodness, this is quite a deep subject, I must say. And yeah, like I said, many people go through this. There must be somebody at home maybe going through something like this. Just say encouragement, just 2 minutes or less than that. Yes,
so to the viewers at home, I would love to encourage you to say, remember, there is nothing to be ashamed of. Trauma has nothing to do with being weak or being strong, but it has everything to do with being human. The reason the moment you become aware of that, you will know that there is absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. You physiologically reacted to that particular event because you are human and it was not your fault that it happened to you. But I would love to encourage you to step up and take responsibility for your healing. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Where do we get hold of you? Where do we get hold of you? Also, viewers can get hold of me via my Facebook handle. It's Sibonelo Mpele, the billionaire author. Yes. also via my Instagram handle. My Instagram handle is the author. And I'm also available on WhatsApp. My number is 073 626 5548. Thank you so much. It was lovely having you here. I'm hoping that healing will take place. Yes. Viewers, you've heard it from him, what he said. There's a principle that I would like to leave you with as well. It's called the 90-10 principle. It says 90% is what happens to you. No, it says 10% is what happens to you without you being in control of. But the 90 is how you respond. Yes, it happened. But please take responsibility. The 90% is you from here going forward until we meet again on Unleashing Your Potential.